Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Junia, and today is a Christmas / New Year themed ASMR video. I guess you noticed probably. I hope you like this background because I love it. This is my mom's doings, but Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas Eve, Happy New Year, all of that depends on when you're watching this video. I'm so happy to be here filming this video right now. I wish you guys all the best. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching my channel. I think it should be like 60,000 subscribers when I post it, or almost. If it's not 60,000 yet, please subscribe, please. So, very long introduction today. I want to do several things. First, I tell you a little bit about how Christmas used to be celebrated in Imperial Russia, before the revolution, the communist Red Revolution, October Revolution, whatever. And then about how we Russians and people from post-Soviet countries celebrate New Year. How we celebrate New Year right now. If you do not know, Russian Christmas is on January 7th. If you don't know why, you should watch this video. I filmed it a year ago and I explained the whole thing with like going back in history about Julian, Gregorian calendar and evolution. But and after that I'm gonna read you Christmas New Year themed fairy tale, winter fairy tale. That is, I think it's the most popular Russian fairy tale. There is even a movie about the story, the Soviet movie. And then I'm gonna show you some of the ornaments and different decorations that I have, and I will tap and ramble about them. So if probably gonna be a big video, I don't know. If you want to watch something in particular, feel free to use the time codes. So Slavic peoples used to be pagan, just like all other ethnicities, cultures, countries. And when they adopted Christianity, the feast of Nativity, the Christ's birthday, fell on the same period of time as the rebirth of Son. And therefore there were a lot of pagan traditions included in Christmas celebration. For example, according to the old calendar, Russians celebrated Christmas on December 25th. The Christmas Eve was on December 24th, just like in Western Christianity. Then you would have the New Year in January 1st and on January 3rd. And then the Epiphany, the Feast of the Epiphany, was celebrated on January 6th. And it was very practical. First you fast, then you celebrate Christmas, then you celebrate the New Year, and then you have the Feast of Epiphany of Christ. I guess you say the Christ. And all of this together, it was called Svatki, Yuletide, Holy Evenings, and after January 1st until the Feast of the Epiphany was called the Terrible Evenings. The Terrible Evenings, holy and terrible, I don't know why terrible. And the Terrible Evenings lasted until Epiphany. The Christmas Eve was called Sachelnik. There are two versions for the etymology of this word. The first one that it's it comes from the word sochin, a type of flat bread that people were cooking on Christmas Eve, and the other one it derived, and according to the other version, it stems from sojiva, which was another dish, a ritual dish made from rice or barley cooked with honey. They could also put dried fruit and nuts in there. I think nowadays we do not really cook this dish on Christmas, at least not in my family, but we eat similar food during the memory day when we go to the cemetery and talk about our deceased relatives. And so, because of how Slavic people used to celebrate pagan day of the rebirth of the sun, they also tried to commemorate the deceased relatives, the ancestors, during the celebration on Christmas. They would put extra chairs at the table so the spirits could have their seats, and they would put extra portions of food, especially that sojiva, and the wives, they were cooking an odd number of dishes, or exactly 12 dishes, which symbolized the number of months in the year. I should say that overall Orthodox Christianity is much stricter than the Western branches, and the whole fasting before Christmas is very strict. But on Christmas Eve you are not supposed to eat anything until you see the first star in the sky. Then after seeing the star and not eating the whole day, the whole family would gather and eat again some greens, fruits, and honey, and also drink berry, like berry juice, drinks that are made of berries. Afterward, they attend the midnight church service. In Orthodox Christianity, most of our services during big holidays happen at night, so you have to be in church for 3-4 hours until 1-2 a.m. And then in my family, at least, we would come back after the service and eat the good food like meat and salads and all of that. And in Easter you would eat the Pascuas, and the eggs. In Russia, unlike some other Eastern European countries, fortune telling and caroling was not popular and didn't really occur on Christmas Eve. It wasn't customary, and usually these practices took place during the Yuletide, so after 1918, when we switched from Julian to Gregorian calendar, Ukraine celebrated, switched to January 7th. Nowadays in modern Russia, Christmas became a strictly religious holiday, I should say. We do not celebrate Christmas if a person does not believe in Christ. They do not celebrate Christmas, but everyone celebrates New Year. New Year became this secular holiday that is the biggest holiday of the year. Usually, people cook different salads with mayonnaise, with mayo. I think this one is the most popular, the salad Olivier, which was originally a French recipe, but we kind of changed it. And herring under the fur coat, which is a layer of. Also, you have a herring, then you have a lot of different vegetables, boiled vegetables, and you have mayonnaise in the middle, between them. Also, a lot of people eat, I shouldn't say sandwiches, like baguette with red caviar and drink champagne or sparkling wine. I think you can only say champagne if it's the original French drink from the region. Also, a lot of people turn the TV on at around, I think, 7 or even earlier, 7 p.m., 6 p.m. and start watching a lot of Soviet comedies, and especially the Ironia судьбы, the Irony of Destiny movie. I think it's very silly, but it's kind of like a tradition to watch it. And in my family we'll also watch Иван Васильевич меняет профессию. Ivan Vasilievich is changing his profession. It's about Ivan the Terrible. It's a comedy. With TV, I think the biggest thing is listening to the Kremlin clock chiming at 12 at midnight exactly, and then you have the president's speech, and like you listen to it. And also some people, I don't know, maybe in other countries you have this tradition, this weird custom. Some people might write down their wishes on a note, and then they light it and put the ashes in their glass with champagne, with sparkling wine. I tried to do that a few times, but I would still have pieces of paper in my mouth, and it was terrible. It was terrible. I don't know how people do it, honestly. I'm not sure. Also, about Santa Claus, I mentioned that we do not have Santa Claus, but we have Ded Moroz, Grandfather Frost, who is very similar to Santa Claus, and usually he wears a blue furry coat, but I think, at least in Soviet Union, but I think because of the American pop culture, he's also red, kinda, and he's got a granddaughter, Snegurочка, like snowy girl, snowflake, I don't know, Snegurочка. Again, watch my other video with the history of Christmas and New Year in Russian Soviet Union if you want to know more, because it would be another long talk. I think I mentioned almost everything. If you have questions, ask me. I will answer them. I'll try. And now it's time for the fairy tale. So the fairy tale is called Morozko. Moroz means frost. So Ded Moroz. was the grandfather Frost, Morozko. And the original story is pretty cruel. Once upon a time, there lived an old man and an old woman. They had 3 daughters. The old woman did not love the eldest daughter, her stepdaughter, Masha. She made the girl do all the housework, cooking, cleaning, washing clothes, and heating the stove. The girl carried out all her tasks carefully, but the old woman was never satisfied and kept grumbling without end. "Why are you taking so long?" Masha did not dare argue with her stepmother. She cried at night but tried in every way to please her. The poor girl had nowhere to go and nothing else to do. Without a home, she would surely perish. Meanwhile, Masha's sisters got up late, washed themselves with water prepared for them, dried their faces with clean towels, and took their time eating breakfast. They did not start working until noon. Thus, the sisters grew up and became marriageable young women. One day, the old man and the old woman began to think about whom to marry their daughters to. Then one day the old woman said to the old man, "Well, old man, let's marry off your Masha." "All right," agreed the old man. He loved his hard-working, obedient daughter and was glad to go and arrange a match. Early in the morning, Masha washed herself, packed her belongings, and sat down next to her father to have breakfast. Then the old woman said, "Well, old man, take Masha to her bridegroom, but mind you, go straight along the road, then turn right toward the big pine tree standing on the hill, and there marry her off to Morozko." The old man was distressed, but dared not show it before his cruel wife. Silently, he and his daughter prepared themselves and set off on the journey. They traveled for some time and finally reached the big pine tree the old woman had mentioned. The old man stopped the sleigh, helped his daughter down, and said, "Sit here and wait for your bridegroom, and mind you, greet him kindly." And he drove away without looking back. The girl sat there trembling, her teeth clattering. Suddenly she heard Morozko crackling in the distance, jumping from tree to tree, snapping the frost. Soon he appeared on the pine tree above where Masha was sitting and called down to her, "Are you warm, young maiden?" "I am warm, Morozko," the girl replied. Morozko came lower, crackling and snapping more loudly, and asked again, "Are you warm, young maiden? Are you warm, fair one?" "I am, Morozko," she answered again. Morozko froze even harder. Masha's cheeks turned red. White stream came from her mouth, and she could barely move her fingers. For the 3rd time, Morozko asked, "Are you warm, young maiden? Are you warm, fair one? Are you warm, kind one?" "Oh, I am warm, Morozko," the girl whispered faintly. Then Morozko took pity on her. He wrapped Masha in a soft, warm fur coat, covered her with snowy blankets, and warmed her. The next morning, the old woman said to the old man, "Go, old man, and visit the newlyweds." The old man harnessed the horse and went. When he reached his daughter, he found her alive, wearing a warm fur coat, a snow-white veil, and holding wonderful gifts. Without saying a word, he loaded everything onto the sleigh, seated his daughter beside him, and went home. When they arrived, the old woman was amazed to see Masha alive and richly gifted. She said to the old man, "Take my daughters to Morozko as well. He will surely dress them up and reward them even better." Soon said than done. Early the next morning, the old woman fed her daughters, dressed them up nicely, and sent them on their way. The old man brought them to the same big pine tree. The girls sat there laughing. "Why has mother thought of marrying us off to who knows whom? There are plenty of young men in our village." They laughed and laughed, but soon began to feel cold even in their fur coats. They hid their hands under their coats while the frost grew stronger. In the distance, Morozko began to crackle, jumping from tree to tree, snapping the frost. He came closer and closer, and girls grew stiff with cold and became angry. Morozko appeared on the pine tree and asked, "Are you warm, young maidens? Are you warm, fair ones?" "Oh, Morozko, we are cold. We are freezing. We are waiting for our bridegroom, but he's not coming." Morozko came lower, crackling louder and snapping more sharply. "Are you warm, young maidens? Are you warm, fair ones?" "Cold. Can't you see our hands and feet are frozen stiff?" Morozko came down even lower, struck fiercely, and asked, "Are you warm, young maidens?" "Go away, Morozko. It's cold," the girl shouted, and instantly froze to death. The next morning, the old woman said to her husband, "Go, old man, and visit my beloved daughters." The old man went to the pine tree and found the two girls frozen. The old woman wept and scolded the old man, but he said to her, "You were greedy for riches, and your daughters were stubborn. How is it my fault? You wished it so yourself." The old woman sulked and scolded for a while, but later made peace with Masha. They lived on happily, gaining prosperity and forgetting past troubles. A neighboring young man courted Masha, and they celebrated a wedding. The old man told his grandchildren stories about Morozko, and did not let them be stubborn, and so they lived. Well, I think this is an interesting fairy tale, interesting story. I never thought of how most stepmothers are depicted as evil women that want to kill their stepdaughters, but it makes sense. Back then, the mortality rate for women during labor was so high, so I think there were a lot of widowers. Wow. And yeah, I told you in the previous video that Ded Moroz was initially an evil pagan spirit, and now it's like Santa Claus. But now let me show you my different ornaments and decorations. Okay, so first is this cute squirrel. In Russian it's belka. Belka is made of this very, very thick material. Oh, my nail is coming off. I took my nails off like the gel, and now I'm using the tips. You see it like extensions. I think it's very convenient for filming. Then is not old and it's not Soviet, but I think these would be like the most popular shapes in Soviet Union for ornaments, and they were made of glass, and of course they were very, very fragile. But this one is, yeah, I think it's plastic. I don't know if you can see how many of them we have here. These socks, this is not a Russian thing at all. My mom bought them in Costco and she really likes them. Okay, the next ornament is this owl, which is also made of this woolen fabric. Very nice. I really like toys like that. Then I wanted to show you we have a few starfish. I know that fish is always singular, like you say fish, like you don't say fishes, but can you say starfishes? I think it's just starfish. Yeah, this one and this one. I think this one was made by me. I made it. This one starfish. Next, I really like this fairy with the wings and the magic stick. I don't know, but I also really like this ornament because it's kind of like a puppet, and I really like to play with it as a little girl, being a little girl. Then mushroom ornament. Yeah, I think it's plastic too, and we have a few of them. We have a few of them. Pretty cool, right? I picked this one. I mean, it's pretty cool. We got it from we bought tea. I think it was black tea. Yeah, Richard. And you got this ornament that, I mean, that's empty. So you can open and put something inside. But I picked it more because of the sound. But it also looks pretty cool. And then I started quilling, like doing quilling, and I made this one a few days ago. I also made the Christmas wreath, and now I'm making a snowflake, but this one is already like ready, and I put it on the Christmas tree, and I really like it. Quilling. The weather outside is frightful. And then let me show you this nutcracker. I think my mama also got it in Costco, but I am not sure, to be honest. I think he's pretty cool. We have a lot of stuff next to the Christmas tree. I hope when I want to say move out, but I already moved out. But when I have like my own house, I'll have such a Christmas tree because my mom is not. Yum, yum. And I wanted to show you this thing. I think it's just magnificent. This is a very big, very big, could you say snowball if it's not a ball? A snow square. And I think it doesn't really make a lot of good sounds. I should have put my microphone somewhere, but it's not easy to do it right now with my current setup. And it doesn't really make good sound. But I think I just like the way it looks, guys. I can just stare at it the whole time. It's wonderful. Okay, this is the front. This is the front. On the weather outside is dreadful, but the fire is. Then I want to show you these wooden cubes that are made by my mom. It's decoupage, you know, when you take a napkin and like put the top layer on something. And as I remember, she also carved all of these. We have a lot of them. Look, you see all these with the birds and the Christmas ornaments. I kind of feel sad because we do not celebrate like the Western Christmas, because it seems like it does not really belong to New Year, if it makes sense, to the Russian New Year. I really like the wooden triggers. Okay guys, thank you for watching this video. Thank you very much. I hope you liked it. Maybe if you have not like weird, just rare or distinctive Christmas or New Year traditions, share them in the comments. I think everyone is gonna have a blast reading about it. Thank you again for staying with me, for watching me. I wish you to be safe and happy and healthy. Yeah, just have all the best. See you soon, guys.